In 1983, a man called Michael Catron discovered a blockage in a tenant's house containing a flesh-like substance and small bones, leading to the arrest of serial killer Nilsen on suspicion of murder. In today's episode, we uncover the chilling investigation into the bodies and secrets under the floorboard. The stinky serial killer called Dennis Nilsen. But I'm sure you'll never smell right again after learning of this killer's basement. Dennis Andrew Nilsen, born in 1945, was an adventurous and quiet child who discovered his homosexuality at 14. In the same year, joined the Army Cadet Force, served in West Germany, and returned to the UK before being transferred to Cyprus in 1969. After retiring from the Metropolitan Police, he worked as a security guard, civil servant, and later as an executive officer. Between 1978 and 1983, Nilsen committed at least 12 murders, with 7 attempts made. Most victims were homeless or gay men, while others were heterosexual. Nilsen lured victims into his 2 North London addresses, offering alcohol or shelter, and then strangled or drowned them. He disposed of the bodies through bonfire burning and admitted to masturbation and sexual acts with 6 of his victims. Nilsen murdered his first victim, 14-year-old Stephen Holmes, on 30 December 1978. He had been drinking heavily alone the day he met Holmes and decided to leave his flat and seek company. They both drank heavily at Nilsen's house, believing him to be around 17 years old. The following morning, Nilsen found Holmes sleeping beside him on his bed, and he strangled him into unconsciousness before drowning him in a bucket filled with water. Nilsen allegedly masturbated over Holmes's body, stored it for 8 months, and burned it in 1979. In October, he attempted to murder Hong Kong student Andrew Ho, who fled and reported the incident to the police. Ho did not press charges. 2 months later, Nilsen met Canadian student Kenneth Ockenden, photographed his body, and placed it on his bed. He disinterred Ockenden's body 4 times over the following fortnight, seated it alongside him while watching television and drinking alcohol. In 1980, Nilsen killed his 3rd victim, 16-year-old Martin Duffy, who had hitchhiked to London without his parents' knowledge. He drowned him in his sink before bathing with the body. Nilsen killed 5 more before the end of 1980, and the accumulated bodies attracted insects and created a foul odor. Nilsen removed and dissected the bodies of each victim killed since December 1979 and burned them on a communal bonfire behind his flat. 3 neighborhood children watched the bonfire, and Nilsen later wrote in his memoirs that it would have seemed in order if he had seen them dancing around a mass funeral pyre. In 1981, Nilsen committed a notorious crime at 23 Cranley Gardens, where he was unable to stow bodies beneath his floorboards and was unable to attend work for 2 months. He killed 2 unidentified victims and discarded the internal organs of several others, including Malcolm Barlow. Nilsen burned the dissected bodies on a bonfire in the garden before vacating the property. For almost 2 months, acquaintances he lured to his flat were not assaulted. However, he attempted to strangle a 19-year-old student named Paul Nobes on November 23, 1981, but stopped himself from completing the murder. In 1982, Nilsen murdered 23-year-old John Howlett and 21-year-old Carl Stotter, causing his neck to bear the victim's finger impressions. He then strangled 27-year-old Graham Allen 3 months after his promotion to executive officer, attempting to hail a taxi. Allen's body was kept in the bathtub for 3 days before Nilsen began dissecting it on the kitchen floor. Nilsen was ill and unable to attend work on 9 October 1982, likely to complete the dissection of Allen's body. On January 26, 1983, Nilsen killed 20-year-old Stephen Sinclair as his final victim while he was listening to the rock opera Tommy. Sinclair fell asleep in a drug and alcohol-induced stupor. Nilsen approached him, knelt before him, and strangled him with a ligature. He laid Sinclair's body on his bed, applied talcum powder, and arranged mirrors around the bed. Nilsen kissed Sinclair's forehead and fell asleep alongside the body. On 4 February 1983, Nilsen wrote a letter of complaint to estate agents complaining that the drains at Cranley Gardens were blocked and that the situation for himself and other tenants at the property was intolerable. The next day, he refused to let an acquaintance enter his property as he had begun dismembering Sinclair's body on the kitchen floor. After that, Michael Catron discovered a blockage in a tenant's house containing a flesh-like substance and small bones. The substance resembled someone flushing down their Kentucky Fried Chicken. The next day, scraps of flesh and 4 bones were found in a pipe leading to the top flat. Pathologist David Bowen confirmed the remains were human, with one piece indicating a human neck. Detective Chief Inspector Peter J. and colleagues questioned Nielsen about the blockage. Nielsen was arrested and cautioned on suspicion of murder before being taken to Hornsey Police Station. In an interview, Nielsen confessed to finding human remains in his living room and bathroom, including the bodies of 3 men he killed by strangulation. He also admitted to killing 12 or 13 men at his former address, 195 Melrose Avenue. Nielsen unsuccessfully attempted to kill approximately 7 other people who had escaped or were on the brink of death, but had been revived and allowed to leave his residence. A further search at Cranley Gardens revealed the lower section of a torso and 2 legs stowed in a bag in the bathroom, as well as a skull, a section of a torso, and various bones in the tea chest. In 1983, Nielsen was charged with murdering Stephen Sinclair and assaulting prison officers. He was convicted of 6 counts of murder and 2 attempted murder charges. The prosecution argued he was sane, while the defense claimed he suffered diminished responsibility. The jury found Nielsen guilty with a unanimous verdict on Nobes's attempted murder and sentenced him to life imprisonment. Following his conviction, Nielsen was convicted and transferred to HMP Wormwood Scrubs, where he was allowed to mix freely. He admitted to controlling his actions and killed with premeditation. In 1983, he was cut on the face and chest, requiring 9 stitches. In 1994, a whole life tariff replaced the minimum term, ensuring Nielsen's indefinite imprisonment. In 2003, he was transferred to HMP Full Sutton, where he remained incarcerated as a Category A prisoner. Nielsen died from a ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysm in May 2018, resulting from severe stomach pains. A post-mortem examination revealed pulmonary embolism and retroperitoneal hemorrhage as the cause. His body was cremated in June 2018, with only 5 mourners present. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Remember to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. If you have any ideas about this case, please share them in the comments below. Stay tuned for our next episode.